Hello, hello, hello. My name is Jeff Dudley, and I am here to do this week's Bible study. I want to thank Genesis Dorsey for this opportunity to share with you guys. She has helped me with my personal business and my personal vision, and in more ways than what she knows. And I'm just grateful for this opportunity to share with you all. And I pray that this study enriches your soul and blesses you immensely. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Today I want to share briefly on the topic of the pressure principle. The pressure principle. So as leaders, we are always in demand, right? We're always doing different things. We're at this meeting, we're at that meeting, we've got this deadline to make, we've got that deadline to make, and we're pulled in so many different directions, and we are working on our personal vision. We're working on helping others fulfill their dreams. We're serving and equipping leaders in whatever aspect of society that you work in, whether it's media, entertainment, education, arts, business, government, whatever leader of or person of influence that you are in your sphere. We are always pulled in different directions, and this can cause us to really have or feel a sense of pressure and weight, right? There's a weight that comes with the calling that God has on your life. There's a weight that comes with the price of execution. There's a weight that comes with doing the things that God has called you to do, because at the end of the day, we're living sacrifices, and that doesn't come without some price. It doesn't come without some pressure. It doesn't come without some weight. And so I like to think about the familiar story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You guys know this story. You may or may not know this story. It's a very familiar story in the Word. It comes out of Daniel chapter 3. And the King Nebuchadnezzar, who at that time was the king in Babylon, the province of Babylon, he brings everyone together, and he builds this golden image, right? He builds this golden image. He brings everyone together. He brings the counselors, the presidents, the governors. He brings them all together, and he basically tells them, this is crazy what he does. He tells them, he says, if you don't worship this golden image, when you hear the sound of the instruments playing, I'm going to throw you in the fiery furnace. If you don't listen, or if you don't hear the music playing and respond to it by worshiping this idol, I'm going to throw you into the fiery furnace. Now that's a pressure situation. That is a weight. If you are in that place at that time and you're hearing someone say this to you, that may be something of a struggle to hear that, right? You know, that's tough to hear that and try to make a decision about what you want to do or what you feel like is best. Because I don't know about you, but I don't know too many people that want to get thrown into a fiery furnace. I don't know too many people that want to get put under that immense amount of pressure, right? But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the three men as we'll call them, made a decision, right? In the midst of them being confronted with two options, right? Obey God, follow God, or worship this idol. In the midst of those two options, they made a decision, right? And so the text tells us that they told the king, that you can throw us in the fiery furnace. You can throw us in there. You know, they're bold and they're courageous about it. You can throw us in there. You know, put more pressure on us. Do it. I dare you to do it, right? You can throw us in there. Put us in that fiery furnace. And while you're at it, turn the heat up, right? While you're at it, make sure that it's hot in there, right? Don't make it easy for us. Make it hot. And so the men say, put us in there And they say to King Nebuchadnezzar, they tell him, they tell him that our God will deliver us out of the fiery furnace, right? The text specifically says he is able to deliver us out of this fiery furnace. Now that word able means that that something or someone has the ability and the raw material to carry out a certain mission or task, right? And so in our journeys, in the places that God has called us to, one of the things that we have to remember is that it's in God's nature to bring us out of our pressure situation. It's in God's nature to bring us out of our pressure situation. He didn't say that he would deliver us when everything is all good, or when we feel good about ourselves, or when we look good, or when we have a haircut, or when we smell good. He says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, and I will deliver him out of them all. It's not conditional. So God promises us, it is in his nature, it is in his character to deliver us from our pressure situation, right? But here's what I need you to get. I need you to get this. Verse 19, and I'm going to read it. Daniel 3, verse 19 says, but this is the principle here. Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury. This is after Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego told him that that the king could do whatever he wanted, that they were going to face the pressure. He says in verse 19, then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury, and the expression of his face was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and he ordered the furnace heated 7 times more than it was usually heated. Okay? So he heats up their situation. He turns up the heat the highest that it can go, right? I don't know about you, but there's been times in my life where I've faced immense pressure, even now. But the principle that I want you to get, I really need you to get it, and we're going to unpack it a little bit here. The principle is, the greater the pressure, the greater the promise. The greater the pressure, the greater the promise. Verse 30 says, then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So you may say, okay, how did we go from the king saying that he was going to turn up the heat on them to now them being promoted? Well, let me tell you this. While the 3 men were in their pressure situation, they trusted God. They believed God. And they even trusted God beforehand. Because the text says in a couple verses earlier, before we even get to the furnace, they says, as I said earlier, that they said, our God will deliver us out of that situation. He will deliver us out of the burning and the fiery furnace. So sometimes you've got to have faith before you step into the trial. You've got to have faith before you step into the situation, right? But even when you get there, you've got to remember that God is with you. That God is going to walk with you through your situation. Because the text also tells us that there were 4 men. 4 men. Started out with 3 men. But the king says he saw 4 men. Right? So we theologians have said that they believe that the 4th man in the fiery furnace was God. Right? It was God with them. And the text says that they were walking around in the fiery furnace. They were walking, right? They weren't burned up. They were walking. So the principle is telling us that if we are going to receive our promotion, we have got to continue to walk even though, despite the pressure. We've got to continue to walk even when hell is going on around us. Even when the enemy turns up the heat on your situation, you've got to continue to walk, because sooner or later you are going to walk out of the fire. Sooner or later you are going to walk out of the fire and up into your promotion and into your elevation, right? Sooner or later the storm is going to pass. Sooner or later the stress and the anxiety and the weight is not going to be such that it crumbles you. It's going to be so that it elevates you and lifts you up. So I need you to get that the greater the pressure, the greater the promise, right? And so with that being said, we need to get an application for this. So I've given you the principle. I've kind of given you some background. Now I want you to have some handles for how you can apply this to your life, right? So how does dealing with pressure in the sense of us knowing what who our God is, how does that play out in our life, right? How do we deal with pressure? How do we operate with pressure as leaders, as people of influence, as people who are always pulled in different directions? How does that play out in our day-to-day living, right? So here's the thing that I want you to do. I want you to write out the things that cause you to feel anxiety, stress, and pressure. Write those things out on a piece of paper. Right? Write them, and then what I need you to do is I need you to pray over those things. Pray over those different areas of your life. Ask the Lord to give you the heart of faith and belief that although your pressure, the pressure may be hard right now, although the heat may be turned up on your situation right now, although you may have so many this may be a season where you are just working your tail off and you don't know which way to turn. You don't even have time to breathe in the morning. You're just busy. You all over the place. You need to pray and ask God to help you to trust Him that in due time you will walk into the promotion that God has for you. That the weight that is on you right now, is not a weight that is meant to bring you down. It is a weight that is meant to lift you up. It is a weight that is meant to elevate and ignite your faith so that you would trust God and believe Him for your blessing and believe Him for your promotion. So I want to encourage you all with this final thought, this final story that I have for you. There was a story of the donkey and the farmer. You may have heard this story. You may be familiar with it. But the donkey falls into the well. It's an uncovered well, and the donkey falls in, right? And the farmer comes out and he sees the donkey. Sees the donkey in the well. The farmer figures out, he says, well, this donkey is a little old. He's been through a lot. So why don't I just put some dirt over him? Why don't I just bury him, right? So he gets some dirt, puts it over him. Gets some more dirt, puts it over him. Gets some more dirt, puts it over him. Digging, putting it on the donkey. To his surprise, the donkey shakes off the dirt. Shakes off the dirt. Shakes off the dirt. And what does the donkey do? He steps over the dirt. He steps on top of the dirt. And before the farmer knew it, the donkey was on top of the dirt to the point where he made it out of the well. What am I saying? Sometimes the key to your promotion is knowing that although life is throwing so much at you, that is the very thing that's going to elevate you and promote you and cause you to have the blessing of God on your life. The very thing that has been designed to bury you under the weight of the pressure and the stressors and the anxieties of your business, of your marriage, of your relationships, of your finances, of all these things that you have going on. The weight of that and the stressors that are burying you are the very things that are designed to lift you up. So I want to encourage you today, be blessed. Know that the greater the pressure, the greater the promise. Bless you.